So it's been a bit long since I've done an update. I've been in the process of moving. I was very uncomfortable with where I was living, not the physical location, but the geographic one. I was shocked to discover how much that area is a trigger for my PTSD, which is not really that big of a surprise considering most of what I was traumatized by happened to me there. So anyhow, I'm back to getting things going again. Hopefully I'll be a little more consistent this time. I've definitely struggled with consistency. I have been writing about what diabetes is, as well as my story more specifically, kind of in an autobiographical way. I'm doing that so that I can truly and thoroughly document what has been going on in my life and how I responded to it, and I can show you firsthand how effective it has actually been. So I have about 3,000 words written on that subject. The topic of type 1 diabetes is enormous, so for me to get all of this information to you through videos is going to be a lot. As I started to present it, I found myself throwing in more and more detail and then getting lost to where I was, so I decided to actually script it out for a change, which most of this I just do off the top of my head with a general topic in mind. With the diabetes stuff, it'll absolutely be very different from that, just so that I make sure I'm giving you all the information. And after 25 years of being a type 1 diabetic, that's a pretty enormous amount. So, but anyhow, I'm almost fully settled into my new place, my new residence. I'm really liking a large portion of it. I'm still having some issues with my brain doing weird things and causing me to have thoughts that are not even valid. I'm fortunate that I'm able to catch that at this point. I also know that if I'm going through it, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other people going through it as well, so it's just that much more intimidating at times. I've met a handful of really good people down in this area and have already more or less been welcomed in and have been allowed to feel very comfortable. And as a result of that, and as a result of things not always following a formula, I've been noticing that I'm feeling a bit paranoid. If somebody tells me that they're going to do something and then it doesn't happen, I start to have thoughts about what I had done to cause that. Which is not really all that valid, but it still happens. So my brain thinks it's valid. So I've been in the process of catching it and stopping it to the best of my ability. One of the things that I utilize for those purposes is a technique called EFT, or tapping. It's the emotional freedom technique. It's based on acupuncture and the meridian system in your body. The premise is quite simply that the trauma is not stored in your memory bank, it is stored in your energy field. Which makes sense to me because the brain is kind of a big data bank, and it's designed to hold memories and experiences so that we don't repeat them. Unfortunately, when we talk about our problems over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, we continue to reinforce that they are a problem, and it basically makes it a lot harder to cope with things as a result, not necessarily better. So the formula is really simple. This is going to be a bit of a challenge to show you, as I don't have anybody to help me film at the moment. I will be posting a chart that gives the location of the points involved. This is the shortcut method. There's a much longer, more in-depth method that I have utilized. In all honesty, I've never found it all to be all that necessary. The shortened version has always worked very well for me. I even have a friend who's an epileptic that every time that she would have an aura when I was around, or when she would actually start to seize, I would repeatedly go through the 7 points or so in the shortcut method, tapping on the 7 points over and over and over again in order until she came out of her seizure, which usually was only a couple minutes. In the past, if she had a severe enough seizure, she may actually have been kind of incapacitated, as it were, for, I don't know, up to a day or so, sometimes even longer. With this, it didn't seem to matter how bad she was having a seizure. The consistent tapping at these points would allow her to come out quicker and have less, I don't know, effect to less brain fog, essentially, to deal with when coming out of it. So the formula for this is pretty simple. You have you say this phrase, and it's based on accepting yourself. So for me, I I have type 1 diabetes, so I would say something along the lines of, even though I'm a type 1 diabetic, I completely love and accept myself. And I'd say that, 2 or 3 times, probably 3 times, while rubbing what they call the karate chop point, or a sore spot right here in the chest. It's on either side. Karate chop point is on the outside of your hand, about that level. If you rub on it, you'll feel a little tender spot. That's the right spot. So you rub that spot, or this spot right here. Again, another sore spot that you would find. It's kind of hard to see with me all bundled up, but it's right out here in the chest, kind of where it starts going into the shoulder. It's definitely tender. And I would, I love, even though I'm a type 1 diabetic, I love and accept myself unconditionally. And I'd say that 3 times. I love and accept myself. Even though I'm a type 1 diabetic, I love and accept myself unconditionally. Even though I'm a type 1 diabetic, I love and accept myself unconditionally. And then I would tap the spots. The chart that I'm showing you includes the top of the head, so I'm going to go ahead and tap there first so that it's consistent with what I'm presenting. 5 to 7 times is sufficient. Then the inside of your eye, either side, right at the end of the eyebrow basically. Then the outside of your eye, right where you would get crow's feet. Under your eye, another sensitive spot. Here, under the nose, right above, between the nose and the upper lip. Down here, kind of at the ridge of your chin bone. And then down here, I guess that'd be on your, kind of near your clavicle or your collarbone to the left or right of the sternum, or the sternum, I guess. And then down here under the arm, either side. It has a wide range of applications. If I realize that I'm feeling anxiety or I'm starting to get anxious in a situation, I will literally tap it out. Another example is I was at a friend of mine's place of employment, and him and his boss had been getting into it on and off over the course of the week. And when I was there was an eruption for sure. My buddy was livid. He was absolutely pissed off. And I kind of pulled him aside, and I went through the sequence with him. Even though this is happening, I completely love and accept myself, and then tapped it out. And I could see visibly he calmed down. It was funny, he still, when he conveyed what he was upset about, when he went into his boss to talk it out, as it were, he was still kind of yelling. He was still saying it at full voice, but there was no anger attached to it at all. There was just forceful energy. It's almost like he had conditioned himself to yell and be angry in those situations. So the yelling was there, but the anger was not anymore, because he had already been able to work through it. So this is a really wonderful technique. There's information all over the internet on how to do it, and videos of it being done. A resource that I've used over the last couple years has been EFTuniverse.com. I'm pretty sure it's still functional, and I will be including a link to that website in the comment section, as well as posting a link to or a picture of the chart, so you know where the points are. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to see what you've utilized this for. I will do my best to see if I can get a live demonstration on here. But as I said, they're all over the internet, so if you just Google it, you'll find it. Share your success with me. I'd love to hear it.